Retirement and investments in the LGBTQ community. What's different? What's not? Next on Smart Money. Welcome to Smart Money. I'm Pat Boyle along with Julia Anderson, and our guest today is Robert Kennedy, who is managing partner of PrideFinancialPartners.com. Robert, we're so happy you can be with us today. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for having me. I appreciate and looking forward to the conversation.
Yeah, we are too. Now, your focus on the money needs of the Pride community, what are some of the unique issues that your clients might be facing? Give us an example.
Perfect. Yeah, like most people that are looking into taking charge of their financial life or getting into a better situation, many of them are the same, but there are some very specific ones specifically to the LGBTQ plus community. A couple of examples of that are, if people want to get married or not. There's a large factor to that when it comes to estate planning, wealth transfer, and even just rights between two partners. And so that's a big factor that usually is one of the bigger questions when people come to me and want to look at their planning scope. And so I help them with that. Other aspects is just trying to help them build up a better sense of responsibility and a better relationship with finances. A lot of people don't really have the best environment, not all, but a good portion, weren't maybe as accepted in homes. And so their value and views of finances may be a little bit skewed. And so I try to sit down with them, find out where their point of view is on money, and then help them make much better decisions and how to do things like buy a home, change positions at work. And so a lot of it goes into kind of financial coaching, but each individual is different, and so their challenges will be very customized to their situation.
I like your word coaching because I think a really good financial planner is a coach. You're not only showing them how they can manage their money, but you're also telling them, how this would work in a relationship. And so I really appreciate that aspect of it. So in all the conversation you're having with, say, a couple,
Yeah.
how do you convince them that they need to save for the long term and save for retirement in the middle of all that?
Yeah, sometimes it's financial therapy. I say, I don't have.
I like that idea.
I know, right? No, it's taken me quite a while to figure that out, but I find that I can always find a common interest, even between, let's say, two couples. And I often will do a lot of, the older you. So I might talk with you and say, hey, younger you at 30, when you look back when you're 50, what do you want to say to your younger self that you did right? And I'll do the opposite. If you're 40, what did the 20-year-old do that was good? And what did the 20-year-old do that you didn't really appreciate? And then I try to forecast them out. And I say, let's not only take care of you today, but let's take care of you in the future. And then I'll just get very specifics of what do they want to spend money on? What are their goals? When do they want to retire? If they want to get out of debt? And then I really do coach and mentor them throughout that process to make sure that they're achieving their goals. And at our firm, we have really three philosophies. And first philosophy is that people have to be accountable for their current financial condition. That's good, bad, or indifferent, because I can't work with anybody who's not really accountable for it. Second philosophy is they have to be able to take and administer advice that I give that they feel is in their best interest and sound and reasonable. Because like anybody who's trying to coach you, if you just don't follow through, then nothing's going to happen. And the last one is that we ask you to give back, give back to your community, give back to organizations, to charities. We do, our goal is for 10% of what Pride does back to the community. We do volunteer time with folks. We donate to organizations. And we find when we do that, it's a very cohesive approach. Our clients are like us and like mind, and it makes that relationship even stronger.
I like the give back to the community portion. That's great. Are partnership rights different than marriage rights, and does it make it legally more difficult to transfer wealth?
Great question. And I'm not a lawyer, and I can't give you specific legal advice. You'll see some disclaimers at the end of this as well. But I can tell you in generality, what they used to call registered domestic partners, like in California when it was there, they had really good, strong rights. It was what LGBTQ folks only had before marriage was legalized. And it gave a lot of things specifically in those states, and each state's a little bit different. The right to go into a hospital if your partner is sick, and the right to transfer some assets, estate or probate probate tax, those types of things in those states. The challenge is if you leave that state and you go to another state that doesn't have that right, they don't carry over with you. You know, marriage, I know, isn't for everyone. In fact, a lot of people ask when they come in, should we get married? And so we do a side-by-side comparison to say, here's all the pros and cons, not in the relationship aspect, but the financial aspect and the wealth transfer aspect. And then people can make their own choices. You know, we can do quite a bit of those same benefits legally through trust and wills and partnership agreements and things like that. And so there are solutions. But they are very different, and people should just be aware of what they can and they cannot do. And I work quite closely with many attorneys in the Portland area and surrounding areas that we can get them to somebody reasonably priced that fits their needs.
You're really talking about a team of advisors for how to plan your financial future, frankly, and I totally endorse that. I'm wondering if the Pride community is more interested than, say, average in social responsibility investing.
Yeah, you know, it's especially in the Pacific Northwest. You know, I definitely see a trend of people kind of gravitating towards that. You know, now they have a new term kind of called impact investing, and it's the same philosophy. You know, the key thing is this. You know, everybody needs to match themselves up with a financial advisor or coach, however you want to do it, so that they can get specific advice to their need. You know, I strongly believe in social responsible investing, impact investing, recycling, everything else that I feel that's going to leave this planet a better place. But I don't want to blanket and say you're doing it because maybe you have debt to pay down, maybe you have other things. And that's where, you know, talking to an individual financial advisor to assess those needs. But when it does come to the realm of socially responsible investing, impact investing, they've gone a lot more broad on that, and a lot more companies are coming in, and we're seeing things not only being screened out, you know, your traditional, let's screen out alcohol, tobacco, maybe pornography, war machines. They're also screening in, and what they're screening in are things like which companies hire the more female CEOs, which ones have more inclusion rights for LGBTQ, who are helping mitigate some of the challenges that we have with our social justice. And we're finding that, you know, not that that's any kind of guarantee that that fund is going to do any better than another one. In fact, I'm not even comparing fund to fund. I'm just saying the philosophy of it makes people have a stronger bond with their money. I see people tend to want to invest more because they feel like they're doing a lot more than just putting into X investment that they're going to not touch for 40 years. And so it's a good motivation tool for people as well.
Julia's message to women at 60andsingle.com, her website, is that at some point in your life, you're going to be alone and financially responsible for yourself and your retirement. What is your most compelling argument to your clients about investing in their financial future?
You know, it goes back, and that's a great domain, by the way. That's a great name. It kicks with me.
I got it. I bought it early.
I bet you did. So, you know, as I mentioned before, you know, I do a little of, right. So I said, if, you know, act as if you're 60, act as if you're 70, you know, and what would life look like? What keeps you up at night? What are you worried about? You know, around you, what do parents or grandparents or relatives, you know, what would bother you? And then I structure that, and then I build financial plans specifically to say, hey, if there is a long-term care event, can we weather through it? And if not, maybe we don't need that new car in your 40s, and let's put some money aside to either cover that cost, somehow mitigate the risk with it, and then we come up with joint solutions. You know, a lot of times in my plans that I do, because I focus primarily on financial planning, so I can, you know, use different tools and mechanisms to project out what somebody's income might be in the future, what their you know, what challenges they might have in health as far as cost. And then I go to today and say, are you covered for that? And if not, what solutions do you want to implement? And so I kind of give people enough time ahead of time, as long as they come and talk with me when there is still time to do it, then I can usually come up with some pretty good solutions and agreed upon approaches.
I might have to steal a few of your buzzwords there and send them out. You have got to be satisfied, I'm hoping, with the progress, legal progress that's been made in the last 10 years in terms of the Pride community, in terms of protections at work, the ability to get married legally, all of that stuff. That must have made or is making your job easier. Is that right?
A lot of it is. I spent a good portion, I've been doing this for 26 years. I did a good portion of this in the 90s and early 2000s where, I had to specialize in how do you figure out partnership rights? What unique ways can I work with attorneys and CPAs to try to mimic what that looks like legally and provide the best solutions? Like wealth transfer, things like that were nightmares for LGBTQ plus folks. And now with marriage equality coming in, now they're given that choice, which is great, and if they don't want to necessarily get married, we still have choices to do that. But yeah, it has definitely eased that up of having to focus specifically on that. I can tell you there's still a lot to go, and a lot more things that we have to improve, but I am very, in general, happy with the progress that we've made. But I'm always going to be a champion for LGBTQ rights and say there's this much, much more. And that's why I focus the firm specifically on is focus with LGBTQ individuals. I jokingly say we're straight friendly, meaning that, of course, not all of our clients are LGBTQ. And, we're an inclusive firm and an inclusive community that we live in.
Last question for you, Robert. If people want to find out more, where should they go?
Perfect. You can go to our website. It's www.pridefinancialpartners.com, or you can also shorten it pridefp.com. On there, you can learn our history. There's different sections of our philosophy that I mentioned, each of our divisions of wealth, risk, and planning. And there's also a contact us information if you want. Put some information in there. Those emails go directly to me. I'm happy to chat with pretty much anybody about their financial situation and to see if there's a possible match for us to work, or maybe resources that I can send you to that might be a better fit.
All right, Robert Kennedy, thank you so much for being with us today on Smart Money. We learned a lot. Thank you.
For more information, go to my website at 60andsingle.com.